Hi students, in the previous video we have seen the principles of management suggested by Henry Fayol. Today we will see scientific management developed by F.W. Taylor or Frederick Winslow Taylor. He was also a great management expert and he generally advocated for scientific management. According to him, management is a science and scientific rules and applications should be used there to control the organization. He is also considered as the father of scientific management. Now let us see what is scientific management. Scientific management means the application of science to management. It means conducting business activities according to the standard tools, methods, and trained personnel in order to increase the output, improve its quality, and reduce the cost and waste. So, scientific management is the application of science to management. We must use the scientific tools, techniques, and train people in working in the management so that we can improve the quality of the products, we can increase the output also, and we should also minimize our requirement of materials, resources, the cost, and the waste amount. Wastage should also be minimized through the use of science in the management. He also suggested for principles. So his principles are called principles of scientific management. Now let us see what are the principles of scientific management. Number 1, science, not rule of thumb. So according to this principle, Taylor stressed that each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific inquiry and not on intuition, experience, and hit and miss methods. Whatever work is performed in the organization must be based on scientific inquiry and techniques. It should not be a trial and error method. Rule of thumb means decisions taken by manager on the basis of subjectivity, prejudice, and whims, whereas scientific decisions are based on cause and effect relationship. The work assigned to any employee should be observed and analyzed with respect to each element or part and the time involved in it. So whatever use or whatever work is provided to an employee must be seen as what are the elements in that work, what are the parts of that work, what should be the standard time taken to do that work, and if any employee is taking more than the standard time, we should intervene in between. We should try to check the time taken by the employees and we should take steps to correct such delays in work. So this is science and not rule of thumb. According to this, the managers must ensure that they use scientific techniques and methods of doing work instead of using their intuitions and trial and error method. Next is harmony, not discord. This means there should be harmony and no conflict should arise between the workers or between the management and the workers, between the top level management and the lower level management. Both should know the importance of each other and feel that they are the part of the same family. Also, the management and the workers must feel that they are the part of the same family. In order to achieve the organizational goal, Taylor recommended that complete mental revolution should be done on the part of workers and the managers. It means there should be a total change in the outlook and the attitude of the management and the workers towards each other, from competition to cooperation. There should not be a sense of competition among the managers and the workers, but there should be a sense of cooperation within the both. They should always think that they are the part of the same family and their efforts must be designed towards the same direction so that they will be succeeding in achieving their organizational goal. Next is cooperation, not individualism. This principle is an extension of harmony and discord. Just what it is told in harmony not discord, that there should be a mental revolution on the part of the management and the employees and the workers, that they should think in the manner that they are the part of the same family and they must ensure that they do not enter into any kind of conflict or misthinking about each other. Management should also welcome suggestions from the employees and reward them if their suggestions prove to be beneficial to the organization. Example, reduction in cost, increase in production, etc. The management should take workers into confidence while taking important decisions. Also, individual interest should be taken into work. individual interest can be foregone for the interest of the organization. This is cooperation and not individualism. Individualism should not be taken into account, but cooperation must be taken. The employees should also be encouraged to be a part of the organization, to be a part of the decision making authority. Their suggestions must be invited and taken into consideration. If they prove to be beneficial to the organization, they must also be appreciated and rewarded accordingly. If we do this type of activities, the workers and the employees will feel like they are also a part of the organization, and the success of the organization is also their success. So they will work hard with high morale and high enthusiasm for the achievement of the goal of the organization. And the last scientific management principle is development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So what does it mean? Development of each and every person must be there. It should not be the case that only organizational success is taken into consideration, but development of each and every person should be done. While selecting the employees, due care should be given as to what are their qualities, what is their qualification, their physical and intellectual capacities, their skills. Each and every aspect must be thought upon, and they should be provided ample opportunities for their career development and quality improvement. So this will lead to the development of the skill and techniques of the employees, which will ultimately be beneficial for the organization. If they develop their skill, if they develop their working abilities, then this will be helping the organization in many respects, like increasing the productivity, improving the quality of work, and also minimizing the resources and minimizing the time taken. Now, how to implement this scientific management? For that, Taylor has also suggested some techniques. These are known as techniques of scientific management. He has also suggested some techniques to conduct scientific management in the organization. Now let us check what are the techniques. Number one technique is functional foremanship. Taylor suggested that specialization should be introduced at supervisory level. He recommended functional foremanship for this purpose. Functional foremanship states that a task of supervision is divided into several specialized functions, and each function is entrusted to a specialist foreman. The supervisory function can be divided into many specialized functions. The supervisor function, as we appoint one supervisor for the supervisory work, but according to Taylor, the functions of supervision have many important functions there, and we should place people according to the specialization, and we should divide the work of supervision into functional foremanship technique. Taylor advocated that separation of planning and execution function. What he told, planning and execution function should be different, and so that foreman under planning in charge may concentrate under planning job, and workers under the production in charge will involve themselves in the execution of the job. So according to Taylor, if there are planning department or the